Now it's time for Lefties Losing It. And where would this segment be if it weren't for bitter, bile-filled lefty loons filming themselves, losing it and sharing it on social media? Here is such a man, and I use the term man loosely, filming himself having an almighty tantrum on the beach because he saw flags.
I'm here enjoying a nice day at the beach with my kids, and I turn around, I got these flags planted here on the beach by these MAGA. Listen, this is all America. We know you didn't storm the beaches to stake out your territory on the beach. This isn't the moon. I get it. This is America. But I'm sick of my flag being represented by white nationalist trash on a goddamn beach. Yourselves.
Imagine being so triggered by the stars and stripes. If it ain't your flag though, mate, if seeing the flag makes you so unhinged, perhaps consider moving to a different country. I'm willing to crowdfund a one-way ticket to Iran for you. Something to think about. We've seen the ladies of The View keen to defend the lefties losing it on college campuses across America. Apparently, these kids are intelligent and ethical crusaders who want to change the world.
Which students are pushing against, which I'm thrilled to see, because I like when students get mad and say, we want a change made.
But how much do these protesters actually know about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Let's find out.
Have you guys chanted from the river to the sea?
Yes.
Okay, which river, which sea?
The Sea of...
So you don't know that? No. And the answer was the Mediterranean and the Jordan. What does Hamas say their number one goal is according to their charter?
They just want to free Palestine.
It's to murder all Jews around the world. How many years did Israel occupy Gaza?
Late 1800s, the entire time.
Since 48.
It's actually under Egyptian control for the first 20 or so years, and then Israel actually left Gaza in 2006.
I'm shocked. Wait, they left?
Wait, what? They left? Yeah, they did. Surely they can't all be this clueless, can they? Let's see if they can answer Zach Sage's next question. What is a Zionist?
What is the definition of Zionist?
Doesn't that mean you hate Palestinians, right?
Jewish people who think that Judaism is the highest race.
Zionism actually just means that you think Jews are entitled to having their own homeland to protect themselves from another Holocaust. You don't even have to be Jewish. That makes you a Zionist.
Okay.
What does Antifada revolution mean?
I don't know what that means.
But you've chanted it?
Yeah.
It's like a global call to murder Jews.
Wow. Wow.
Did you know you said that?
No.
Would you say it again?
Probably not.
How much have our foreign adversaries donated to American universities in the last decade?
No idea.
I couldn't give you a number on that.
The answer was over $6 billion. How many Gazan refugees have the Arab neighboring countries let in the last few months?
35,000.
The answer was 0.
Look, you asked an education major about...
Students don't seem to know what they stand for. So wouldn't it be great if these expensive colleges actually taught them something?
It would be great if colleges charging $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 tuition would occasionally teach their students something other than how to hate the West. Maybe then we wouldn't have the chickens for KFC phenomenon as exemplified by this next activist.
Can you explain what you're wearing?
Yeah, this is like this. Yeah, this is a Kia. This is
Or what's the meaning behind what it is that you're wearing?
Yeah, so this is a kiafa. It's like kind of worn in a lot of like more Middle Eastern cultures, and this one in particular is like has a lot of significance in like the sort of Palestinian resistance. Words. Wearing this to like show solidarity with like Palestine and Gaza right now.
What exactly are the Palestinians resisting?
Israel has been essentially colonizing Palestine for the past 70 years or so. And they're resisting colonialism, they are resisting imperialism, and they have been resisting a genocide that has been waged against them that has only intensified over the past 7 months, and they've been resisting this genocide for the past 70 years.
Would you describe yourself as a progressive?
Yeah.
Do you think that Gaza and the Palestinians share your values?
It doesn't really matter what they share my values, because at the end of the day, they are being genocided.
Are you aware that in Gaza, they behead or throw LGBT people off of buildings?
No, they do not. Interview's done. Thank you.
All right, just ask the question.
No, they don't. Interview's done. Oh, dear. These people are almost beyond parody, but some comics find a way. Here is Matan Peretz mocking these nincompoops.
People are very sensitive. Like, I don't know, how can you judge on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict if you don't know your own gender? You know what I mean? Like, like, you know what I mean? Thank you. Like, why are people so upset? It used to be Palestine, now it's Israel. You trans, you should know that. You know what I mean? We just removed the you know what I mean?
Now let's look at some lefties losing it over the commencement speech given by NFL player Harrison Butker. You see, the Chiefs kicker, who is Catholic, gave a commencement speech at a Catholic school saying Catholic things, and that saw this podcaster absolutely lose it.
The kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who has got to be the most sexist, white supremacist I have ever seen in my life.
Whoa, she just defamed him there wildly. You should probably sue. But they weren't done yet. Won't someone think of Taylor Swift?
Hate him. It's unbelievable that at a time, this last football cycle, where all of these women are attracted to the NFL because of Taylor Swift. Right. And here's this incredibly successful woman, Taylor Swift, that has this amazing work ethic. And then I forget that this type of person exists everywhere. And this is evangelical Christianity. What he said is so disrespectful, to such a large portion of women, and it's so dismissive. I hope that he is canceled to hell and back, and I feel so sorry that his wife has to sleep with him.
Oh, good Lord, that got real weird real quick. And here is another lefty lady losing it over Harrison Butker. She's a former Chiefs cheerleader who seems to think she speaks for all womankind.
You know, we have several things in common. First and foremost, until a few months ago, we were both employed by the Kansas City Chiefs. I cheered you on for 6 years straight. And with that, I would assume we went to the same PR training. Biggest takeaway is you now represent a $1 billion organization. You are no longer just Harrison Butker. You are now Harrison Butker, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And anything you say or do that doesn't align with that brand, scissoring just like the lesbians you hated in that video, will be grounds for termination.
Oh gosh, she's a little bit annoying, isn't she? And these ladies are going to lose it even more when they find out that Harrison Butker's jerseys have sold out in all the women's sizes. I guess there is only one thing left to do, ladies. Go into the woods and scream it all out. We're going to have more lefties losing it for you in a minute. Joining me now is Newsweek Senior Editor-at-Large, Josh Hammer. Josh, good to see you again. Talking about lefties losing it, let's check in to see how the leader of the free world is doing.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you.
Vice President, during the pandemic, Barack said to go to Detroit. What pandemic is he talking about? What's going on, Josh?
I mean, Rita, I think what's going on is fairly obvious, which is that the purported leader of the free world is palpably senile, and he is losing control of both his physical faculties and his mental faculties. I mean, Rita, his staff has had to produce for him a bespoke pair of sneakers. He has to wear a special pair of sneakers, literally just to walk across the White House ellipsis to actually get to Marine One, the presidential helicopter, just to prevent him from tripping even more than he already is. And he's been tripping a lot over the course of his presidency. But however bad his physical decline is, his mental decline is obviously so much worse. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin when it comes to the shocking number of gaps that we've seen over the past few years here from this pathetic excuse of a so-called president of the United States. This is only the latest example here. It's easy for us to joke about Rita, but unfortunately, this has very real ramifications. I mean, dictators all around the world see the decrepit state of the commander-in-chief, and from Pyongyang to Moscow to Beijing and Tehran and everywhere in between, they are just licking their chops looking at this feckless excuse for president.
And it's not just the gaffes, it's not just the cognitive decline. When he does put a sentence together, he's likely to be saying dangerous, race-baiting speeches like this one he gave to black students at a college graduation ceremony in recent days.
You missed your high school graduation. You started college just as George Floyd was murdered. And there was a reckoning on race. It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy? If black men are being killed in the street, what is democracy? Betrayal of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. And most of all, what does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure?
It is just an incredible speech on so many levels, not just the falsehoods, not just the race baiting, but you just wonder what the motivation behind it is. Why does he want to put that message out there? Why does he want to tell black graduates that they need to be 10 times better than non-blacks to get a fair go, that they're being murdered in the streets?
Yeah, this speech was absolutely positively disgusting. I mean, talk about how a president of the United States should, in theory, try to uphold the best of the American tradition. You know, what Joe Biden should have done before he gave this speech in Morehouse College, which is historically viewed as probably the most prestigious of the HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities in America, but he probably should have looked to some famous black Americans to see what they had to say about the American experiment, about our Constitution, about our Declaration of Independence. He should have looked at people like Martin Luther King, who spoke wondrously of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. He should have looked at Frederick Douglass back in the 19th century, the great slavery abolitionist, who spoke wonderfully about the Declaration of Independence and how this country was founded, that is, America was founded in a noble and just way for a noble and righteous and just cause. And you know, just to bring some kind of empirical teeth to it, Rita, as well, this notion that black men and women in America in the year 2024 have to work 10 times harder to make it. Are you kidding me? Since the Civil Rights Act of 1964, there has not been de jure under law state racism in America. In fact, the last vestige of actual racism was affirmative action, which the Supreme Court thankfully and mercifully held as unconstitutional last summer. That was against whites, Asians, Christians, and various other groups, not against blacks. So this was a disgusting race-baiting speech, but it speaks volumes about the situation that Democrats find themselves in when it comes to trying to lock up the black vote. They are petrified of young black men in particular, basically the people that were right there in the Morehouse College audience.
They are, and if they think the way to appeal to them and to bring them back in is to indulge in this sort of racial politics, this bigotry of low expectations, they're on the wrong track. But this is all they know, and that's what they're going back to. But I want to speak to you about this shameful episode for the Biden administration. And today, they've sent an official message of condolence to for the Iranian president, Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash yesterday. Really, the White House offering its condolences to the butcher of Tehran, a man who tortured pregnant women, who was responsible for thousands being slaughtered. It beggars belief.
I mean, disgusting, honestly, does not do this justice, Rita. Tragically, by the way, it's not just Joe Biden. I mean, NATO, the official NATO spokesperson, also offered her condolences on behalf of NATO. There were many European Union, EU countries that did the same thing. But, for the United States in particular, it really is kind of above and beyond disgusting. I mean, this is a regime, the theocracy, the malocracy in Tehran that's existed since 1979. This is a regime that quite literally chants death to America in the streets. They chant death to America in their legislature there. And, just to kind of underscore how absurd this situation is, it's not just that they want to kill Americans and kill America. They do. The Iranian regime has the blood of hundreds and hundreds of Americans on their hand from their roadside IEDs that exploded during the war in Iraq. They have tried to assassinate Americans all around the world, for that matter. But over the past 48 to 72 hours, though, what we have seen is that a lot of the Iranian people inside of Iran, Rita, have risked their lives to go on social media and celebrate the death of this man that you just described, the so-called butcher of Iran, this man who has terrible amounts of copious blood on his hands. And at the same time that the Iranian people who are struggling for basic human dignity and free expression inside their own country, at the same time that they are risking jail time, prosecution, or God forbid, even worse, just to go to social media and to express their joy that the butcher of Tehran is no longer with us. At the same time as that, the president of the United States and the leader of the free world is offering his condolences. How about we just say, we hope for the best for the Iranian people. May your next president offer you something remotely approximating human dignity. Not that the president has that power, it's up to the Ayatollah, but some message along those lines would have been nice. But offering condolences for a terrorist jihadist state, oh my God, never thought I would see it, honestly.
Just if you can't put out a message that hopes for better days for the Iranian people, then just don't do anything. Don't put out a condolence letter. I mean, it is, oh gosh, for someone, as you know, my family fled Iran after the Islamic Revolution and the Islamist takeover of the country. So to have the US president, the Biden administration, put out a message like that, it's just... like I said, it beggars belief. Now let's talk about the illegal immigration crisis in the US. We know there's also a crime issue there. There's been some high-profile cases. I'm surprised this case hasn't got more coverage. An illegal immigrant has been arrested and could face life in prison after allegedly going on a serial raping spree in a van police have described as a rape dungeon on wheels. Here's more from Fox 11 News, and a warning to our viewers, this report may be distressing.
A, quote, rape dungeon on wheels. Oh my God. Described as rigged for rape. Condoms, ropes, bungees, children's toys, multiple cell phones and hard drives, and the mattress, worn, stained, disgusting.
And I can say in almost a 20-year career, this is the most disturbing scene I've ever been in. Now, all of that evidence has, of course, been processed. Everything that's in here is what's left.
Investigators say the man they call a serial rapist would lock women inside this mobile cage, locked in from the outside, behind this metal partition with no escape.
It's incredible that we keep hearing about these cases with victims who have been left broken. Some have lost their lives. And yet, really, the Biden White House has done nothing concrete to tackle this issue, with record numbers flooding in through that southern border. You don't know who they are. You don't know their criminal history. And we shouldn't be surprised that cases like this are emerging.
Yeah, there's no shortage of cases just like this. It's the tragic part. So I live in South Florida, as you know, Rita, and it was in Palm Beach County in Lake Worth, Florida, just 2 or 3 weeks ago that a very similar story unfolded. I don't think that there was a physical van. I mean, God forbid, those images are indeed shocking and cut to the core of our human consciences. But here locally in Florida, there was also an illegal alien in Lake Worth who was also raping women, and they finally caught him after he had done damage to God knows how many souls. And actually, the Palm Beach County, Florida sheriff, to his great credit, was very outspoken about this. And he said, you know what? this person should never have been in this country. And who knows how many people have been damaged by the fact that he was just here. And it's ultimately up to the federal government to prevent them from getting in here. But the Democratic Party in its current manifestation, Rita, has no interest whatsoever in trying to stop the migration inflows of illegal alien immigration, because why would they? Every time that an illegal alien gets to a state due to a ridiculous bit of constitutional misinterpretation by the U.S. Supreme Court, illegal aliens actually count for U.S. Census representation. It's a ridiculous case that the U.S. Supreme Court has to take to rectify at some point. But under current U.S. Supreme Court case law, illegal aliens residing in states like California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey actually add congressional representation there. So you have that, and you have the fact that they're likely future Democratic Party voters. The incentive structure isn't exactly aligned properly for Joe Biden and his fellow Democrats to actually shut down the border. What I greatly fear is that it's probably going to have to wait for the next Republican president, in all likelihood, Donald Trump, possibly come January 2025.
Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time.